California magnitude 3.3 earthquake east of Mendocino Ridge near Ferndale, days after the 3.1 quake, and of course, the earthquake swarm is still continuing. We still have earthquakes on the San Andreas Fault, earthquakes on the Walker Lane Fault System, daily occurrences, earthquakes in the Salton Buttes area, earthquakes in the Ridgecrest area, and we know that these are volcanic areas as well. We know that Ferndale, of course, is just quite north. It's north of the geysers, where we've had thousands of quakes every month. We had a 1.4 just this past hour, not reportedly felt by anybody, but we know we have the biggest geothermal plant in the world there at the geysers. Let's take a look at this together. The bottom of this map is where you see the Gorda Ridge south. That's where we've had the earthquakes. Gorda Ridge extends to the Mendocino Ridge, and it goes into Fortuna, and the area where we've had the earthquake swarm these past few days, and ongoing, of course. This is Seismo Berkeley. This is where we have our quake swarms. The past hour we have this at the geysers, as we said. Shallow earthquake. And unfortunately, there are cracks there. There are faults there. And we're getting too many quakes there, in my opinion. But the increase has also been noticed after the geothermal plant has been established. But this is our earthquake that we're talking about. Rio del Rio, California is very close to Fortuna, and it's been felt by, we didn't see, 3 people so far. As you can see, this is the Mendocino Ridge right here, the Gorda Plate. We can see it more clearly on Google Earth right here. This is our earthquake right here today, 20 kilometers southeast of Rio Del, and this is Mendocino Ridge, Gorda Escarpment. And if we pull out, we'll see the Juan de Fuca Plate right here. And this is the area of the volcanic positioning: Mount Shasta, Lassen Peak, Clear Lake, Long Valley Caldera, and Ridgecrest is around here. Pisgah Crater, Salton Buttes. And we'll go back to our map. We can see more clearly the activity there. This is it right here. And you can see that this area here, which is a fault line, has a lot of activity. For some reason, this is all empty. We don't get too many quakes right here where the little hand is. We know that the geologists have told us April of last year, before the Ridgecrest earthquakes took place, that there is a magma body here that feeds the west coast, high threat volcanoes right here on Walker Lane Fault System. And also, one arm goes to the west and the other arm goes this way under this fault line to feed Yellowstone. So, we've also noticed that after the Ridgecrest earthquakes in July, we've had an uptick of quake swarms in Long Valley Caldera supervolcano, Mammoth Lakes, right there, that's Long Valley, shallow Long Valley, and an uptick in quakes in Yellowstone. We shouldn't be surprised because we were informed in April that they have a connected magma body with Ridgecrest. What feeds Ridgecrest, which is a volcanic area, the Coastal Volcanic Field here. This is San Andreas Fault. This is Garlic Fault. And this is the Walker Lane Fault System. It's not one fault, it's hundreds of faults together. And San Andreas, we know, takes up 75% of the subduction pressure of the Pacific Plate under the North American Plate, and Walker Lane Fault System takes up the other 25% of that pressure. Okay, and that is fed by the magma coming from Baja California, which also goes along this fault line, as you can see very nicely here, to this position, which is Yellowstone. And as you can see from the mountain range, turning like an arc up to Canada this way. And we'll see this a little bit later in another video. We have another earthquake in Kansas. This here is Lake Superior, and the Great Lakes. They seem to be far away from Yellowstone, but not so. Once, about 1 billion years ago, they were quite close. Superior was very close to Wyoming, and because of the fact that the mid-continental rift cut them apart, because of the magma plume, the hot spot that's under there, they spread. That's a mid-continental rift. It's over 1 billion years old. And most of us don't know of this, but there is a magma body under here, and the geologists don't know where it's coming from. And that's why we have earthquakes in Kansas, Oklahoma, this area here. This is not the same rift as we have in the New Madrid seismic zone, which is here, this thing here. So basically the continental United States is splitting into three. From the coast to New Madrid seismic rift, it should be called, the Real Foot Rift Zone, that's one part, rifting. The second part is between that and mid-continental ridge, rift right here, mid-continental rift zone, and the other part, of course, is here. So that's the quakes that we had today. The quakes are ongoing with the quake swarm, as you can see. And the big question to me is why this is always empty most of the time, this thing here. Okay, so all of you here in West Coast, please be very careful, because they are giving us warnings that they do expect bigger quakes, especially in the northern section of the San Andreas and the southern, right here. And we'll keep an eye out on this. Thank you for your support, and the next video will be on what's happening in Kansas. We do have volcanoes there as well, the kimberlite Kansas, the diamond spitting volcanoes, and that has to do with the Coenan Fault and the mid-continental rift that goes this way. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.